Hey everybody, it's Battles with Bust number 333, and today we're going to be doing battle with Leona Aurelion Sol. And so, this is our second set of battles. In the 4.3 patch, the standard rotation has happened, the glory for Navori is here, and we're going to come out and try some of these new cards and see how it goes. And so, to give you a brief update on the format, Samira has come in and really taken over. The Samira Fizz deck is currently the top dog of the meta, and it's kind of tough to tell on day one if that's a deck that is really going to be the real deal, or if it's just the best aggro deck in the format, and it's really coming in and taking over in that sense. What I personally think is going to happen, and why I feel a little comfortable running this Aurelion Sol deck in a field full of Samira Fizz, is the decks are starting to slow down. Right, the way that the meta is going to shape up is the deck that does the absolute fastest thing is going to be shooting right up to the top. You can have your deck be a little bit inconsistent, but everyone else's deck is inconsistent too. And so you get to kind of come in and pick on those matchups just because your aggro deck is a little easier to tune than a control deck and the like. And so what we're starting to see as the days have progressed is the Fizz Samira decks are starting to slow down. They're all starting to pack cards like heavy metal. And once you start to say like, well, I'm playing 3 copies of heavy metal, then you've kind of recognized that you're not just going to be the burstiest deck in the format. And so my current take, my current hot take, my current spicy load, if you will, is that Samira is arguably the best card in the game. There's no denying that Samira is going to be a fixture and at the forefront of the meta for the next month, but I think the Samira Fizz deck is probably going to fall off a little bit. It's going to certainly stick around. It's going to be probably the premier aggro deck, but I think it'll fall away a little bit. And so, what we are looking to bring here today, moving into the actual deck list itself, Leona Aurelion Sol. The Daybreak theme has been around for quite a while. It did not get hampered with the rotation, so most of the Daybreak cards are here. And this is an exceptionally powerful mid-rangey kind of tool. And so there's typically 2 separate flavors of Leona decks running around. In the past, we've seen Leona paired up with Katarina for the Sunburn style deck. I love that quite a bit, and we will probably circle back and play that deck in a future date. And then there's been Leona paired up with Aurelion Sol as a more mid-rangey style deck. You're going into the late game with Aurelion Sols. You're looking to daybreak the Eclipse Dragon into Aurelion Sol and get the big dragon down on turn 8. And so the reason I'm kind of drawn to this deck is a couple of points. What I think is good against the Fizz deck right now is Lifesteal and cards like Hush. You can't play slow or fast speed removal spells against Fizz. You're just entirely too slow to pull that kind of thing off. He'll just counterspell whatever you're doing. And so you need burst cards to get in front of him like Hush, or burst cards like Quicksand to allow you to get in front of that Fizz. And so we're going to be playing Hush here today. And then Lifesteal is also surprisingly good against the deck. It does have a lot of burst power to it, but if you're able to slow them down enough to where they aren't able to get 2 or 3 elusives on the board, along with Fleet Admiral Shelley, then gaining 5 or 8 health across the course of a few turns tends to be more than they're able to overcome. And so that does tie us into the first card that we're going to talk about here in the Cosmic Youngling. Wow, what a day! What a day! FTP Bust playing Cosmic Youngling in a deck. I know it. I know it doesn't sound right. The Slayer of the Legion Rearguard making his way into our constructed decks. I know, but if this card's able to come down, it can realistically prevent 7, 8, 9 damage against the Fizz deck and buy us the time we need to get our big units on board. And so we're looking to mainly lifesteal with the Cosmic Youngling, but we also have access to Solari Priestess, which can generate the Golden Sisters, which give us the useful elusive along with the lifesteal unit, and then we're playing the Solari Sunforger as just a standard lifesteal unit. Thing number 2, the new tie-in that we're going to be getting with Solari Sunforger is the other new card in Search Warrant. And so the Aurelion Sol style deck typically played cards like Concerted Strike. Concerted Strike is no more. We can't play cards like that. But the new card Search Warrant is here as a nice interactive spell for us. And we have a pretty reasonable collection of units that can be activated to use the Search Warrant. The flipped Leona has 4 attack. It's very common for Sun Guardian to have 4 attack. And then the more standard units and Sunforger, Ravoon, Eclipse Dragon, and of course Aurelion Sol, all able to take advantage of the search warrant. And so I'm mainly wanting to come in and give it a try. There are other options you can play like Detain, but I feel like search warrant is worthy of a little bit of respect, and I want to come in and try it out. And so that's the deck. That's what we'll be doing battle with today, but you know what we're going to do before the battles begin. We got to go and pay the pay-to-win price, and we're doing it. We're going right up to that, right up to that youngling. Look at this thing. Whew. What the way the times change, man. It's like as the format rotates, your personality and yourself rotates, right? And so I'm sure as us being the aggro lovers of the world, we've just rotated into the mid-rangey space, and I'm sure all of those Seraphine players out there, those people that think a Karma deck is going to be fun, maybe they've just rotated into aggro, and they're going to say, oh boy, let me get a Legion Rearguard in my life. And so we'll see. We'll see if the rotation affects us in different ways. All right, first battle, and again, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I've been a little bit under the weather. In the previous video, everything was all in my sinuses and in my nasal stuff. In case you wanted to, in case you wanted to know, that's all pushed itself down, and so it's hanging out in my throat and hanging out in my chest today. Hopefully, my voice sounds a little scratchy, but I'm feeling a little bit better, and so hopefully everything will go okay here. But as we did in the previous video, I usually play 8 games. That gets us to about an hour. I'm only going to do 5. I can already feel my voice going away, so I'm gonna cut it short again. You know, it's really bad timing. You know, health-related stuff could have turned up, you know, last week or next week, but no, it has to happen right when the rotation happens. Says LOL bust, you get sick. Enjoy. Go and try to make some YouTube videos when you can't fucking breathe. And so that's the way it goes sometimes, man. But all right, we're running up against Sir Pickle, bringing on the format's boogeyman of Fizz Samira, and we'll see how this goes. I was mulliganing to look for some 2-drops. We didn't find any, right? We got just a real kind of bummer of a hand. The Sunhawk is going to slow this down a little bit, but we really need to find another play here. Pale Cascade is not it. But we'll continue on. We'll fight as hard as we can. And wow, what a disaster of a draw from the opponent. They must just have a handful of like Fleet Admiral Shellys and like the card draw card. Just exceptionally bad draw coming from the opponent. So let's get a dude down while we can. We can look to spike off a Sunburst. I mean, we're not going to cast it on Fizz. That's just guaranteed to fail. But if he adds another unit here, we can look to try and take it down. Very good deal killing Samiras with Sunbursts, right? It is not. That was sarcasm. There's a barbed chain. Not surprised. I assume with how slow his draw has been here, he's playing a lot of barbed chains. He's got a lot of Fleet Admiral Shellys in hand. And so that does make it kind of interesting. It's a kind of a bummer of a spot that we're in. Because if he's going to play Shelly, we'd really like to just kill it. But we don't have the mana to search warrant. We can't Sunburst and play anything else. So we'll just have to make do with what we've got. Gonna drop some +2/+2s out here. Oh boy. Sure. Not how I was expecting that day to go. Still doesn't feel great. Still feels like we're just about to get OTK'd. But at least on this upcoming turn, if he drops a unit, we've got both Sunburst and the Search Warrant to try to fight our way through. We did just pick up Hush. We can Hush a Fizz. That's always kind of nice. Just the kind of bummer with this hand is we're a little bit too slow to really get stuff on board. I think we still need to be adding units. Like, I'm definitely on board with that. Right, he's tapped below Fleet Admiral Shelley for the turn, so he can't really get more guys on the board. Yeah, maybe we should still just... maybe to just come out here and remove stuff. This feels ultra greedy to be adding units in this space when we can remove some of his board. Because, like, we can pretty safely take 6 damage. It's not that big of a deal. But if we go into the next turn and he's got like 3 units on the board, then he plays another elusive and a Shelly and buffs them all, we can't stop that. So we do need to try and slow this down just a little bit. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. And it's not even the silenced version, so he still gets his unit back. What a bummer. I did not expect him to be picking up Sunburst out of his manifest. Brutal. Oh my gosh. Sad day, man. What a bummer of a turn. Everything that could go wrong went wrong with that one. All right, well, get back on board, Ravoon. You got to do something. We need to pick up a lifesteal unit real fast. I mean, it's no real opportunity to pick one up here, but we've got to get something going. So we'll add a dude. He knows we have Sunburst. We'll still try and save it for his Shelly. It's just such a bad spot against this now. Because he can play Shelly and then realistically play 4 spells. And so it's tough to see how we're going to get through this. Alright, well, he's looking to be mean to Ravoon. I'm just going to drop the Stellacorn and make all of our units big. We could have looked to, say, play Pale Cascade, but I think getting the additional unit down is going to be a little bit stronger. Send him in. He's got to make at least 1 block here, I would assume. Put a long tooth in front of a Stellacorn or something, at least prevents most of the lethal. Okay. Such a weird hand from this guy. Okay. Are the burblefish coming at us? I wonder if he's seen our hush yet. Let's see what we can do. Fall into 3 doesn't feel doesn't feel particularly good, but kind of is what it is. Okay. He played the warning shot right. We're just dead. We're just dead here so many times. Painful, but not bad. But that kind of matches exactly what I'm talking about in terms of playing this against this deck. On the first day, people were really just in the ultra aggro versions of the deck, and I think it's pretty realistic to think that people are going to start slowing it down. You're going to start seeing the heavy metals come in, and that gives us a little bit more space with something like this. And I think that game also lets us have a good chit-chat about the Cosmic Youngling, to where if we want to think about just having it down on the second turn of the game, and then if we'd made our way through like turn 5 or turn 6 with it and gained the 4 health. It's just so much recovery time against a deck like Fizz that, excuse me, on that last turn where he's trying to hit us for, almost exactly lethal, the health from these things would have made all the difference.
Don't want to die? Don't do terrible things.
My faith protects me.
All right, though, up against old Action Varus. This Action Varus apparently has a pretty good matchup against the Fizz deck, and so I suppose this is going to be something we're going to be seeing more and more of in the upcoming days. Interesting. I'm curious why he's so intent on holding onto this Buru cultist. It's something you usually just throw away right in front of the shield bearer. Not going to get in front of action. Like, Shaped Stone isn't in the format anymore, but, I mean, God, I wonder if this is safe. Like, the combat trick has to be the cultist one, right? And he hasn't played an equipment yet. Feels like this is probably a safe block, but I'm gonna let it go. Everybody out there at home saying, bust, grow a pair. Get some stones, dude. Get some stones. It's alright. We still got a pretty strong board here. I'm okay with Written in the Stars. It's fine if it picks up Leona. It's fine if it picks up Aurelion Sol. We can get both of those champions down pretty quick, and they should be pretty good in this matchup. Alright, here comes the battlers. See, this is where it gets interesting, right? If he's willing to attack with action into a 3-4, then he's got to come out and block something like Ravoon. Ravoon is a very high-quality unit, and he's going to play his card on it. Maybe he just doesn't know what Momentous Choice does, or he just has 2 copies of it. 2 copies of it, okay. But it's like, action is one of those cards to where you'll be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna get one over on my opponent because you just never block action, and so it's pretty safe to just assume, you know, you can. It's like the easiest bluff attack in the game is coming in with action, but I couldn't really deduce if opponent was like, oh man, I forgot to I forgot to play my equipment and my spell is weak, or if he just actually had 2. It was tough to tell in that spot. I think realistically what happened there was he was expecting it to be +2 attack because he played the first one, and then when that failed, he just happened to have the second one in his hand. I don't think he did that intentionally. I think he fucked up and then kind of fixed it with the second copy. But here, I'm going to get a second Sun Guardian down. He's not going to OTK us this turn. We're too far away from that. And then we can look to play Written in the Stars and have a strong turn next turn. Alright, so does he ever not attack here? Right? We want to play the Written in the Stars, but we don't want to kind of communicate everything that our hand can do before he's attacked. He may not attack here. We'll go ahead and just play it. Picked up Leona. She'll be delightful next turn. And he doesn't attack. Interesting. Behold the divine power of the sun, the bulwark, if you will. This would be so much nicer if we had that Ravoon on board still. maybe we'll get him down next turn and he can start pulling off some strong attacks, but I really want the Sunhawk on board to cause some problems. Alright, and then I'm going to go after Varus here. He might have the thing, the Unforgiven Cold, that's fine. But if we're going to get the chance to take one of these champions down, we want to take down Varus. He's not going to be killing us with action, right? Action is going to cause some problems, but he's not going to overwhelm kill us. It's the Varus that's actually going to kill us here. And so I want to get in front of him and try and take him down if we get the opportunity. It's like now we can hit overwhelm with his action maybe, but yeah, I think it's all fine. Get in there, youngling. Young blood getting in there, preventing all the damage. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it. How do we feel about this? Are we going to have time to get Ravoon down? We have 10 mana and we can do everything we want, right? We want to play Ravoon, single combat, and the Solari Sunhawk. Looks like he's going to open on us. So what's about to happen? Here comes the Varus flip. With him going after Leona, though, I can't imagine that he's got the lethal for this turn. It's so much mana to... Or, it's so much damage to have to punch through a Leona. I don't believe it. if that's what he's trying to advertise. So he's only coming in for 4 damage. How much do we care about this stuff? Like, it's a pretty decent single combat for the turn. He's gonna pop his Warlord's Horde either way. And I kind of want to keep the Sun Guardian around. Maybe we just give up on the champions and then protect our Sun Guardian. It's just the bummer for next turn is losing out on the multiple stuns that we can get.
Warriors of the Raharat, our time is now.
We'll follow you to the edge of daybreak.
So we'll take the 3 bank. It looks like we're going to be adding a Sunhawk and an Eclipse Dragon. Feels like it's going to be short of lethal. Like with when we play the Sunhawk, it's just going to pop the spell shield on Varus. We really needed the Leona to get the multiple stuns. Search warrant. Okay. We can work with that. I think I still want to just add the dragon. Ugh. It's kind of nasty. Right, we have the choice. If we add the dragon, we can't play the search warrant, but we can still play search warrant next turn. Gotta make sure this Sun Guardian lives through the day, though. What a tough day for him. Oh boy. Not bad, dude. Not bad. I mean, I guess at least him hitting tough onto Varus is better than him hitting Spell Shield. We can't completely complain about a tough, but kind of fucking annoying. I'll tell you what that is. Oh, and the fresh Spell Shield. Okay. Just getting us for exacties? Why not? Why not? Okay. GG. GG, my dude. Make me a sad one in my sickness. But yeah, losing out on the Leona was again the big damage, the big pain point with that turn, in that we couldn't pop through those shields. I mean, I'm curious if like 2 turns before. Well, I would say realistically, our problem with that game was if we cycle back a little bit further was when we gave up on our Ravoon. Our Ravoon is what, when we were going on and on about whether or not it was a safe block in front of his action, that was the turn we lost Ravoon, and maybe we should have just kept him alive because those daybreaks we were hitting were so important. Like, we had that really cheap hand, and we could have potentially just we could have potentially just gotten the multi-stuns the turn after that. Played it a little bit too aggressive. I just saw all of our big stats and said, nothing can go wrong. look at all these giant units we have on the board.
Protects me.
Alright, let's make our way in here. Get ourselves a nice little combat. And I'm having a tough time with these younglings. They're turning up at the wrong times and in the wrong matches. I'm trying to decide how much we're really liking these things. It's not that great against Karma set. I'll give it that. Give me that heal. Give me that 1 point of attack. Feels good, man. Many strengths, many strongs. Alright, so with this, I was leaning towards just getting Ravoon on the board. This isn't a super important unit in the Mixologist, but now it's like, well, what if he plays Set? Set to 4-5, a little scary. I think Ravoon's still probably safe. he can reasonably get in these combats. And now it's like if we get boomed by a Mystic Shot, it's not the end of the world. But I went ahead and played our Daybreak thing. You get the Daybreak and the Nightfall with Ravun on the board. If he's going to come down and die in this combat, then I do want to get all the bonuses out of it. And then we'll just continue on with our attacks here. I think we're going to be A-okay. Interesting, he passed on playing Set. I'm curious if he's just trying to bait us here. Just add this dumb thing, right? That'll get us all the stuns we need. Now the baits are no good, are they, my friend? You can set down this Stellacorn. I guess that'll be okay.
Technique is for lightweights.
Okay.
Beat losers, get. I saw you looking at me.
Alright, dude. Your team's getting stunned, bro. Man, this is another space. It would be so good if we had Ravun. I feel like we've really wasted his potential here. Just being way too greedy in these attacks. That's what you do when you're playing the Noxus version, right? You just say, I'm just going to get in here and start attacking. Everything's going to be fine. I feel with this version, we've been a little bit too aggressive in what we're doing. But this is still a pretty good board for us. He needs to add something or he's just going to get trucked for like 50 damage. I'm looking to just add the soldier here and then we'll have mana for Hush. I don't think we'll need Hush mana, but let's see what turns up. It's nice to be able to Hush this Set when he's trying to stop. Excuse me, when he's trying to get his big challenge in.
Will see the light.
Alright, so at least our Sun Guardian is continuing on, getting the big damages in there. We've got the double stun coming on him next turn, so no real attacks to worry about. Feels good. There's the Ravun. Tell him you're sorry. Tell him you're sorry. We've been throwing him away too easily and too often. It's weird when he doesn't have 6 health either. I forget when that change came in, but he's certainly noticeably weaker.
Hey boss, check out the size of the crowd.
And all of them here to see you, of course.
That should just be enough, right? Leona and then the 2 stuns? I think so.
Yet, and I ain't starting now.
It's gonna make a showstopper. Poor Ravun, man. The guy just can't catch a break. Okay. I don't know, man. Are we gonna be able to get all this damage in? I was assuming that we were just gonna take this turn and have like 1,000 stuns.
Daylight breaks.
Alright, but we got our Leona back. We can get more dudes on board. We have the search warrant as well. I don't think we're looking to search warrant necessarily.
There's only one true light.
He's only got 2 mana at this point, though. So if we say search warrant the Sky Singer, we hook the Mixologist. He blocks. Yeah, we're still just way too short on damage. Ugh. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. He's going to get that showstopper next turn.
Devotion through battle.
Sad day. That removal's just lined up a little bit too well.
This should be fun.
Are we were we too greedy in this? Did we need to consider that we could say search warrant the Set to keep him from generating showstoppers? Like the showstopper is just gonna annihilate us, right? The riff, wow. Okay. Ooh, where'd everything go, man? Where'd everything go? What a bad spot now. Ooh, that's bad. That's brutal.
No holds barred. Welcome to the arena.
Alright, we can at least shut down that dumb stuff. Now he's gonna start gaining a million. Ugh. I need my Ravoons back, man. This has been so painful. Like it's the second game in a row where I suspected we're gonna be able to get like 3 stuns and really shut everything down, and then just not the case whatsoever. All right, this one's done. GG. All right, next battle. And so yeah, I've been working with Jack and working with Set. I haven't seen too much I've actually been really impressed with. Set is kind of in an odd spot to where I always compare it to Screeching Dragon. And so if you want a unit like Screeching Dragon, Set is clearly better. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that Set isn't better than Screeching Dragon, but they're so similar in effect and champions tend to be so strong that it feels like kind of a waste to play Set when you can just play Screeching Dragon and play a regular unit instead. And so, like, I haven't been too impressed with him. With Jack, it feels like there should be a lot of like really interesting strike abilities. You know, it's like I've been trying Jack with say Udyr, Jack with Action, Jack with Kayn, and it just feels a little bit weak as well. The punch the punch things, whatever those are called, that card that that lets you strike something and they strike you back, but you stop at 1 health. It hasn't really been enough. Like if it was like free, I think that would feel pretty reasonable. But all of the build around stuff I've done with it just hasn't left me impressed, and so maybe something will turn up as time moves on. But it feels like those champions need a little bit more help before they can be relevant. All right, but into battle here with Nora Vhagar. Reasonable enough start. Sucks to die to that first unit, but we do have the single combat for Nora. I'm curious if opponent had the new Calling Strike. It costs 2 mana to kill a follower with 3 or less attack, or 4 for a champion. And could have potentially taken down our Sun Guardian. Now he has to risk us playing another Daybreak on this next turn and getting out of the way of it. All right, try and make it here. I might die before this game's over. Lose a lung. I'm starting to lose my voice. I think I can finish this game and take a break and get one more in. But sorry if there's a lot of awkward and choppy pauses in the middle. So I've got to start hacking up a lung, and so it's tough. All right, Vengeance goes away. Love seeing it go away before we drop our Ravoon or our Leona to the board. What you got for us now? Another Nora. Okay, well, we'll drop in the stun. Our Leona is out of range of that Calling Strike again, right? On her front side, she would die. On the flipped end, she has 4 attacks, so she gets away from it. Try and drop Ravoon next turn. Maybe the magic will happen here. This has historically been a pretty tough matchup for Leona, but there's been, changes in the format and nerfs and stuff, and so maybe it's not as bad as it used to be. Is this a Husk? It's like, holy shit, he's getting so many units on the board. But bad though, the Spell Shield Husk is always powerful. Drop a Vhagar or something and give him Spell Shield. Alright, opponent pops Leona's Spell Shield. Interesting. Was that just going to be a piercing darkness? And we can still just send it in, I guess. Like, we have the opportunity to say instead, hook the warded husk, but, I mean, if he's just gonna piercing darkness, we'd be able to take down Ravoon in the middle. Double hate spike. Okay. Pretty heavy investment. There's the Vhagar with the spell shields. Well, we're on track for this Aurelion Sol, so we'll see if we can't get him down and cause some problems. Four damage on the darkness. So next turn he will be able to spike the Ravoon if he wants. Vhagar will kick it up to 5. But we do get Aurelion Sol down.
What wondrous discoveries await below?
Ain't nothing wrong with the little Aurelion Sol, am I right? I am. I'm right. So who do we want here? I'm leaning towards the Great Beyond. It's gonna cost 9, not 7, but or maybe we go for the Immortal Fire. Great Beyond. It's like I like having the elusive that can get in front of Nora next turn.
Number 3. Soon, Lord Vhagar. It will be ready soon.
Alright, since his darkness can take down a Ravoon, we might as well go ahead and attack with him. Right? No reason to leave him in the back line, he's just going to die anyways.
I will drink your darkness. Persistence is key.
Give up now.
And we don't have a Pale Cascade. That would be so sick taking down the Vhagar in the combat. And then we're at... He's going to kill the Ravoon, right? But I'm going to say we're pretty close to getting this Aurelion Sol to flip. He's one short. If he'd put a block in front of Eclipse Dragon, that would have gotten us up to a... Well, that's 8 and 11. That's one short. Mathematics never my strong suit. So, are we going to try and kill his units, or are we just going to go for the win? I think we want to just go for the win, right? We can have a pretty powerful round next turn. His darknesses are going to be at 7, though, so capable of taking down Eclipse Dragons. Let's just get as big of a board as we can. So I'm going to play the Eclipse Dragon first. I assume that he's going to add like a dude and then come at us with a darkness. Wow, just absolute nothing. All right then. Let's start playing free Celestials, I guess. Lots of good stuff we can start doing here. I assume this Aurelion Sol's probably safe. So it's like I still want to play the most expensive one, but we should be able to clear out his board here. Right. GG. Ooh, we did one. We got a victory. Got some Aurelion Sol down. Go us. Alright, the final battle is here, and so it's important to say, as we get in this final battle, we're playing Aurelion Sol and Eclipse Dragon during the Dragonmancer event. You should try and get in a conversation like this throughout the course of your day. You say, hey, Bust, do you like dragons? You say, yeah, man, dragons are cool, everybody likes dragons. And they say, what do you like about dragons? Your response should be something along the lines of, I like Dragon D's nuts. and then you say where you're going to drag him. Face, chin, wherever, you know. however you want to go about it, whatever your flavor or style is, that's what you're going to be dropping on him. You know, get a good D's nuts joke. You get a good dragon thing in there. So good. Feels so good, man. I'm glad I'm glad we got to share it with you. And so real treat for you, real treat for me. And get a little D's nuts joke in here. But all right, into the battle up against Action Master Yi. Let's see what we can do. So I hung onto the youngling. It doesn't seem like we're going to be playing it. This feels like another game where he's not going to get on board, but I mean, I guess if opponent plays action, I'm not entirely opposed to just blocking action with the youngling. It'll survive, and then we'll get to heal a point of its health next turn. But, I mean, we got the shield bearer here. Why, why even bother? And so this is Action Master Yi. The fresh question here is going to be, what's the chance that he's playing like a rando 3-3 for 3? Like that dude that generates a coin? That's, you know, maybe. The Vicuran Vagabond, that would be a problem. Maybe we don't play the Solari Priestess. You know, if we're wanting to say, well, opponent's probably just going to play a Merciless Hunter here, then great, let's get the Priestess on board. But there's, I think, probably too many options to make that a bad deal for us. How do we feel about Written in the Stars? Like, Meteor Shower, it's not the premier removal here. It does kill Jun. Probably not going to kill anything else, though. I think I'm just going to pick up the Written in the Stars. We don't really have anything to do next turn anyways. And if we don't find ourselves sunbursting, then we can pick up the champion on the cheap. All right, well, we're not dealing with that. just go ahead and put it out there. We're not going to deal with that, man. No, thank you. Now Master Yi. Okay. Wuju style. So let's see what we can do now. It's like I worry in the sense that we've been pretty aggressive with these Ravoons, and then we haven't been particularly happy with how aggressive with them we've been. And so I'm not like really amped about getting him into combat here, but maybe it's okay. Give opponent the lucky find. I think that's okay. He's going to be trying to drop this secondary Sunburst onto Yi next turn. He's got the spell too. Dang. Well, I was just hoping he didn't hit Flow. Grappling hook. Alright. Not bad. Not bad. No spell shields, please. Alright, you're getting nasty. You're getting nasty, Yi. You're gonna be flipping, aren't you? So how bad is it if he gets to deny this, right? So if we drop the Sunburst and then he has the deny, we have a handful of ways to kind of get away from the Yi, but it's a little scary if this doesn't happen. Rite of Negation could be a thing as well. Alright. Well, he's gone. The bad man can't hurt us now.
My blade will bear new legacy.
Did we want to add anybody? I don't think so. I mean, we have the single combats at home. We'll probably want to keep that mana up in case another unit comes down. Because we don't have a very impressive collection of dudes in our hand. We have another Ravoon to drop, but that's the extent of it. Need that Leona. Alright, Sun Guardian's good though. We can chain off a bunch of daybreaks here. Sure. Would have been a lot cooler if we had our guy, but you know what they say. Is what it is. Let's just pass at this point. We got written in the stars in our hand. Fuck. Shit's annoying, dude. Alright. Alright, dude. You gotta be like that. You gotta be like that. And he picks up quick attack, sure. Well, it's about time for Aurelion Sol, right? That's how we fix all these problems. See what the old written in the stars turns up.
I don't need rules to know good from bad.
There's Aurelion Sol. We lose out on our daybreaks, though. That might have been a little poor choice of ordering, but it's what it is. This is the perfect thing to be doing with these cosmic younglings, right? You know, just block. That's as good as it gets with you two, huh? Sure.
Everyone should have a draft.
Did we want to spend any of this mana? We can still play the Solari Soldier and then go into next turn and have single combat mana. I mean, maybe that's okay.
Discipline and conviction.
We would like to kind of push up to 20 power if we can, and so you know, we got to get a dude on board if we want to start pushing. His lucky finds haven't been that great.
The guilty will beg.
All right, Stella Corn, let's show them what you're all about. It's time to pop off. Do your thing. Alright, he got like a million spell shields for a million lucky finds for the turn. Not bad. He is down to 2 cards though, and so it's a you know, he's really hurting for something to do. He's going to get the predict draw for the Warlord's Palace, but he's definitely lacking in cards at this point. It's a little scary just even thinking of sending Aurelion Sol into the action. So with this, I'm going to pick up Supernova. I feel like we'll get some targets for it. I don't think it's too far out of the question to think we'll be casting this at some point. And we have enough big stuff as it is. We can live without that. We can live without the big dudes. It was the 9-cost elusive and then the destroyer, the 7/7 overwhelm. I think we'll just generate enough cards before we get to that point. Thinking hard on this one, though. Yeah, that's so much mana. Alright, we'll pass. Equinox isn't bad. Doesn't do anything to action, but Jun is a potential target. Just need to not die for a little bit, right? Uh-oh. This is gonna be scary, isn't it? you know that action's about to pop into Aurelion Sol. Oh, fuck. Alright. I mean, maybe we should have attacked last turn, so just we wouldn't have to deal with the quick attack. That's a bummer, dude. That's a bummer. Sure. Alright, Heavens Aligned. What you got for us? Ooh, an Invoke thing. Maybe that'll bring us all the magic we've been looking for. Take another Written in the Stars. Both of our champions are so good at this point. That sounds good to me. Can't play Aurelion Sol if we hit him, but we can play Leona. And if we get all the stuns from Leona next turn, pretty close to lethal. Alright, you gonna get that action flip, huh?
A clear mind
Gonna get it. Alright, what can we do now? Getting all that health out of the Stellacorn feels amazing, doesn't it? Feels amazing. Alright, to shine like the sun, you must burn like it, my dude. Let's get some of these stuns in. We go for the Solari Soldier. We can stun both of his two dudes. I suspect we're probably gonna be short. There's a pretty good chance he's picked up a unit out of what he just drew, but maybe, maybe not. Not bad. Can't even kill the action now. He's so big. He's so big, friend. I don't think there's any real punishes for this. You could have like a quicksand, which would be annoying, but I don't think we have to worry about him actually killing the Leona. Ooh, this one's dragging on, man. These nuts really happening here. Yeah, I just need a Celestial. we can build up to it across a few turns, right? If we play a Solari Soldier into an Eclipse Dragon next turn, I think that's okay. His open, what's he at, 19? Cosmic Youngling's actually doing a bit of work here. I appreciate it, yo. All right. He has to open or we're going to stun his action.
I know your true heart.
All right, what could go wrong? Nothing. Nothing could go wrong. So we got to be good there, right?
Protect our people.
So we'll get this dum-dum down. This might be a touch of a mistake. If we're looking to cast Supernova, we need to spike a really cheap Celestial. And so spending the full amount of mana doesn't really help in that sense. But I think we're still good just to come down and get a really big board here. Yeah, he's hit Spell Shield anyways. Sure. What you got, Eclipse Dragon? The Destroyer.
Let us see if you are worthy.
I don't know about this, fam. Feels like this one's is slipped away. Probably something about not having a Ravoon. Okay.
Blade and body.
So, I mean, is it even worth going for the Celestial at this point? I don't think we're going to get the chance to Supernova. We can try. That's just going to be too slow. This sucks so much, only having the one Daybreak for the turn. Feels like, I mean, we probably just have to get the Sunforger in and then try and get a bunch of blocks in after that. Master Yi's going to do something weird. He's going to strike the weakest enemy. We're going to have some problems here. Yeah, I think this has probably come down to that one turn to where we didn't attack with Aurelion Sol into action because we didn't want him to die, and then he got hooked in with the resonating strike on the next turn. I think that was probably just a little bit too much for us. We should have just attacked. Like, if this action was off of the board and we traded off our Aurelion Sol, then we'd be in a great spot. But letting him quick attack down our Aurelion Sol was just way too much. So what's he got? He's got a swinging glaive. Action's got a swinging glaive. Everybody's got a swinging glaive.
Strike while the planets allow.
I think we're probably dead here, but send something in, gain a little bit of health, drop a bunch of blockers onto the board. Hopefully we'll be able to block action and not die. And then again, we're in this spot to where we have to... if he gets overwhelmed here, we're done. But we're in this spot to where... Why are you casting it on him? You're doing this wrong, dude. What are you doing? He's digging for spell shields onto action, I guess, instead of trying to hit overwhelm onto Master Yi. He has another strike, we're done for. Okay, we'll just give it up here. And so, not a bad set of games. Didn't play our best. That's going to happen when you're sick, but it's been kind of an interesting learning experience jumping back in here and trying out some of these new cards. And so we can pull this up and talk about it a little bit more. And so I think the one that I had the highest hopes for here was the Cosmic Youngling. And this card, it just didn't feel good. I think this is one that's going to be super, super polarized, right? As we played a match like that, the majority of our matches, this card was just something that we completely didn't want. It was pretty ignorable for our opponent, and I wasn't super happy with it there. You really need to be in a space to where you're playing against something like Pirates or just a really aggressive Noxus-based deck for this unit to be useful, but that's not even how the format looks right now, right? We're in this space to where Samiras are running around, and Samira can very easily take down a 4-health unit with the 3 copies of the combat trick and her flipping into the combat trick. It's just this unit isn't good in the current meta, I don't think, and it felt like it was just a dead draw every time that we hit it. And so I wasn't particularly impressed with it. I felt like Search Warrant was okay, that we maybe ran into like one spot to where we couldn't cast it, but we were a little bit aggressive in kind of throwing away our units. And so this is one that I would prefer to give a little bit more of a shot, but it's probably not good enough unless there's landmarks you're also looking to blow up. And so I'm trying to think of what kind of like landmark-based deck I would want Search Warrant even against. Like, I know that Howling Abyss isn't in the format anymore, but you're really looking at kind of like Howling Abyss type cards to blow up with Search Warrant. There hasn't been a landmark within Talia Ziggs that you would ever want to blow up. It has to be those things like Howling Abyss and the Sun Disk and stuff that you're really looking to hit with this, and then maybe getting some kind of like fringe capabilities to where, I don't know, you get a... You get a capture on an Entomb or something weird, just like those real fringe cases that can kick this up just a little bit. And so I wasn't particularly impressed with it. And so outside of that, I think the Leona shell is still pretty fine in this format, especially in the sense if you want to think of best of threes, because the best of 3 events are going to start coming up, and looking to ban out Fizz, and that gets you a little bit more options here. But I wasn't particularly happy with a lot of the things going on in the Aurelion Sol version. We'll have to kick this over to Noxus and see if we're a little bit happier with the aggro versions, because this one, it just didn't really do it for me. And I feel like we could probably change our tune a little bit if we cut out these bad cards for good ones, right? I like the idea of Hush and single combats and the bigger units and stuff. Just the Youngling felt dead every time, and we ran into some of these spots to where we just didn't have enough stuff to do in the late game, and we really got kind of drowned down by having a bunch of shitty Solari dudes in addition to having a bunch of shitty things like Cosmic Youngling. And so I feel like that drug us down a fair bit. But nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.